Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shah. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he has attended the BRICS Summit in Brazil, marking the first state visit by an Indian Prime Minister in over 6 decades. On the fourth leg of his 5-nation tour, the Prime Minister met the Brazilian President Lula da Silva. As tech, climate and counter-terrorism, they dominate the agenda. Notably, Presidents Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, they have skipped the summit, with Xi Jinping's absent for the first time since 2012. Now, as trade tensions and security challenges loom large, India is expected to rally support on global terror, including a firm pitch for international backing in the wake of the Pahalgam attack. So the Prime Minister there meeting President Lula da Silva in Brazil, a quite significant visit by the Indian Prime Minister. In fact, the BRICS Summit, it's a coalition of emerging economies. It was formed in the year 2009 and it is an annual summit that is conducted since 2009. And originally, Brazil, Russia, India and China, they were a part of this. But in 2010, South Africa joined the BRICS. In fact, it also represents Global South's major powers, and it has been focused on cooperation and development. It engages in multilateral global reforms. As I mentioned, the membership expansion took place as far as the BRICS Summit is concerned. 11 full members and 9 partners. The full members, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, UAE and Indonesia, while 9 partner countries, they were inducted, and these countries are Nigeria, Belarus, Bolivia, Kazakhstan, Cuba, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda and Uzbekistan. Meanwhile, this is the 17th BRICS Summit that is taking place in Rio de Janeiro. Prime Minister there meeting Lula da Silva, the President of Brazil. The theme of this summit this year is inclusive global governance, climate, economy. In fact, tech is also in focus, and the push for global health collaboration as well as AI, digital governance is also in focus. It also seeks peace and security reforms. In fact, 120 meets are planned, conferences, forums, they are also planned, and all eyes will be on the Global South cooperation. And to talk about it and shed some light on this significant visit by the Indian Prime Minister to Brazil, I'm currently joined by Dr. Brahma Chilani, Strategic Affairs expert. Dr. Chilani, welcome to NDTV, sir. Speaking about India's diplomatic, strategic diplomacy here, how significant is Prime Minister Modi's visit to Brazil, given that it's the first by an Indian Prime Minister in 6 decades? What does this signal about India's evolving Latin America policy and South America policy, sir?
I think Modi's visit to Brazil and to Argentina certainly will help India to deepen its engagement with Latin America, because this is a continent that Indian foreign policy has neglected for long. And I think the Prime Minister's visit to Argentina and now to Brazil is important in that way. But I think the BRICS Summit is unusual in the sense that the Chinese President Xi Jinping will not be present. This is the first time that Xi Jinping will be missing from a BRICS Summit since he came to power in China in 2012. And even Mr. Putin won't be present. He will be appearing via video conference. So the 2 key leaders, in fact, the 2 countries that are shaping BRICS have shaped BRICS from the very beginning, China and Russia. Their leaders will not be physically present in Brazil for the BRICS Summit. That, I think, makes this BRICS Summit rather unusual.
As far as this summit is concerned, and especially when you look at India, sir, What are India's strategic objectives at BRICS 2025, especially in the light of Prime Minister Modi's broader five-nation tour?
India and Brazil are the two moderating voices in BRICS. They've always been the moderating voices. They have prevented BRICS from becoming openly an anti-Western institution. But now BRICS faces a major challenge because it has enlarged, it has doubled in size, and now its cohesion is very much under pressure. That will be, so in a way that this summit in Brasilia is going to be a test of BRICS' ability to manage its enlargement. The fact is that in today's world of great uncertainty, with things in turmoil in the world, BRICS countries are seeking to play safe now. They are trying to not be on Trump's radar. In other words, this summit will not seek to showcase anything that could serve as a red flag for President Trump. In that sense, even without India's moderating voice, the BRICS summit this time is going to shape up as a meeting that actually focused and emphasized on moderate positions.
Dr. Chelani, you highlighted about the absence of China and Russia from BRICS 2025. Having said that, can the absence of China and Russia be seen as an opportunity for India to assert greater leadership within BRICS? Do you think that can happen?
I think that's a good question. I think for India and for Brazil, the host Brazil, this is an opportunity to showcase their own leadership of BRICS, because now the role will be played by Brazil and by India in formulating the outcome of this summit. In that sense, it's a great opportunity for India and for Brazil. The problem is the larger problem, that BRICS increasingly has come under the shadow of China, that China has institutionally sought to suborn BRICS. For example, the BRICS Bank, which was originally supposed to be headquartered in India, is headquartered in Shanghai. So China has been playing an increasingly large role in shaping BRICS. Its shadow really is apparent across the BRICS institution. And for India, how to deal with this enlarging Chinese shadow over BRICS is an important foreign policy challenge.
Speaking about trade and security here, Dr. Chelani, how are US-China trade tensions as well as Trump-era tariffs shaping the BRICS economic discussions? Do you think that is also one of the factors? And where does India position itself in this global trade friction?
It's a good question because Trump's tariffs and threat of tariffs are weighing like a sword over this summit, because none of the BRICS member states would like to do anything that attracts Trump's attention, because some of these countries, like India, are now currently on the cusp of reaching a trade deal with Washington. The last thing they want to do upset the momentum that they have managed to gather toward reaching a trade deal with Washington. For everybody, staying away from Trump's radar and focusing on issues that will not enrage him is is a priority, even if it's a priority that nobody would like to speak about in public.
Yeah, and that is in fact a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Well, it is, and this is the irony of the summit, that BRICS originally was was um, was built as a counterweight to Western-dominated institutions, and over time, BRICS has been seen as a alternative to the G7 and US-led alliances. But here is BRICS today in 2025 seeking to be on the right side of the US.
Yeah.
And that is remarkable that BRICS as an institution is no longer seeking to be an alternative to Western-dominated institutions. Rather, it's trying to favor
And it is indeed an incredible
from White
transformation as far
House
as this
and
entire.
seeking sure that.
All right.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, this is the. It's remarkable how BRICS, in terms of its concept and its motivation, today looks so different
Absolutely.
from the original fundamentals.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm also joined by Mr. Manish Verma, State President of the Dalit Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, also Director at Indian Association of Amusement Parks and Industries. Mr. Verma, welcome to NDTV. We were earlier speaking about the dynamics of BRICS 2025. And Dr. Brahma Chilani, he highlighted the absence of Russia and China from BRICS 2025. Now, with President Xi Jinping and President Putin skipping the summit, how does this affect the relevance or internal cohesion of BRICS?
No, it is not at all going to reflect anything because we are already now growing in numbers also, and everyone is supporting. And it will be a great time in the coming time that many of the countries are joining, and now it will be very good for all the countries to have some special deals and treaties within themselves in this group.
Mr. Verma, speaking about India's focus on counter-terrorism, and given the focus on counter-terrorism in this particular summit as well, how can India leverage BRICS to build a united front against state-sponsored terrorism, particularly in the light of its concerns in Kashmir and the recent attacks in Pahalgam?
I don't think that will be a challenge because we are tackling all these things very smoothly nowadays. And we are giving them all the replies what they want and how they want. So I think in the coming days by this BRICS community, we will be able to counter all these things.
Okay, Dr. Chilani, I also want to get your comments on what transpired in China at the SIO. The Defense Minister, Rajnath Singh, refused to sign that document. Now, again, given the focus on counter-terrorism, how do you see, what transpired in China, and do you see any sort of connection with the BRICS 2025 summit? Because India's focus is very clear. India's focus is on counter-terrorism and to, get the world together to speak up about whatever that is transpiring in Pakistan and Pakistan as a country that sponsors terrorism on Indian soil. So do you think India's India's actions, especially at SIO, the Raksha Mantri's stand at SIO, and China not being a part here at the BRICS 2025 summit, do you see any sort of connection to that?
No, there isn't a connection, but at the SCO meeting in China, Beijing played a dirty role in seeking to not only shield Pakistan, but actually seek to create a communique that sought to obscure and, in fact, black out India's concerns on terrorism, and that prompted the Indian Defense Minister to refuse to sign on to the joint communique, which resulted in no communique being adopted by the SCO meeting. As we all know, that China has long protected Pakistan's export of terrorism because, after all, that export of terrorism is largely to India, a country that China is seeking to contain itself. So when China's own proxy, Pakistan, seeks to hamstring India's regional role and seeks to bleed India with 1,000 cuts, this works. This really advances China's own strategy vis-a-vis India, and as the host nation of this SCO meeting, China thought it could get away with providing cover to Pakistan until the Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh refused to go along with the Chinese game plan. The BRICS Summit in Brazil, of course, is a completely different forum. China is very much part of it, even though Xi Jinping may not be physically present at the BRICS Summit, but other Chinese officials are going to be there at this BRICS Summit, which has already started in Brazil. And I think that the BRICS Summit's focus is not going to be on terrorism, even though it's a very important issue for India. And I think it won't be easy for India to bring its concerns about terrorism.
Dr. Chilani and Mr. Manish Verma, could this visit help reset India-Brazil ties, and what are the implications of stronger India-South America relations for global South and South cooperation? Well, that is something that we'll have to wait and watch and see how things unfold there. But thank you very much for joining us on NDTV with your valuable views. Meanwhile, my colleague Aditi Bhardwaj, she spoke to the Argentinian ambassador to India, Mariano Coquinuas, as well as Mr. Sameep Shastri, the Vice Chairman, BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry, about the significance of Prime Minister's BRICS visit. Take a look.
Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to NDTV. How do you see India's presence at the BRICS Summit, firstly, in relation to the rising tension in the world?
Well, we had the opportunity to have the Prime Minister of India in Argentina yesterday, before going to the summit in Brazil. And we had a very important visit, the first one of a Prime Minister of India in 57 years in a bilateral summit. And we had very interesting talks between the President Javier Milei and Prime Minister Modi. And a lot of fields of cooperation can be expanded, and we can work even better. In the afternoon, the Prime Minister left Buenos Aires and he flown to Rio de Janeiro, where I think today it's the summit. But Argentina is not part of the BRICS, so we are part of the G20. We are partners of India in the G20, but not in the summit of the BRICS.
So how do you see Prime Minister's visit to Argentina has helped in strengthening the bond between the two countries in relation to the terror attack that happened in India? The Prime Minister's one of the major focus was to echo the sentiments which the world is already aware of about what Pakistan does and how Pakistani-sponsored terrorism is harming everyone. How do you think the Prime Minister's visit strengthened that emotion?
As you know, Argentina and India share common values regarding democracy, regarding freedom, regarding the respect for human dignity. And we are partners in the same combating the same threat of terrorism. Argentina is a country that was a victim of terrorism, of international terrorism, not so long ago in the 90s. We had two terrorist attacks, one in 1992, one in 1994. One against the Israeli embassy in Buenos Aires, the second one against Jewish Community Center. In the two attacks combined, we lost more than 100 people, 100 innocent people. And the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, has expressed his strong support to India in the need to combat terrorism, to prevent terrorism, and to combat also the states that promote terrorism and that hide terrorism and that use terrorism as a political weapon.
How do you see India's role at BRICS Summit? How crucial it is for India to make its voice heard at the international level?
You know, with the times, the global south is a debatable topic now. And India plays a very vital role if you primarily look at it, not just in terms of the development in economies that we are seeing. We become the third largest. And on top of that, in terms of population. So our voices should be heard. And our Honorable Prime Minister for over a decade has just been doing that. We have increased our global presence drastically. And BRICS is a very, very strong platform which has gained importance across the world. People have started recognizing. And as India would be chairing next year, it is very, very important for us because that will help us motivate our builders, entrepreneurs to trade better with BRICS Plus nations. Now we are a pool of 10 nations and plus partnering countries. So it is a big opportunity where we have 45% plus world to cater to just within BRICS Plus.
But India has been advocating for a multipolar world to exist. How do you think the BRICS Summit can achieve that agenda?
I think it's high time that a multipolar world is required, right? Because developing nations' voice or underdeveloped nations' voices were never heard. It was more like an autocratic system which was dictated by the Western world. Whereas if you look at the population, if you look at the resources, if you look at the manufacturing, everything is being supplied to the Western world, primarily from the Asian part. And unfortunately, we have been dictated for over more than 50 years, 60 years of how to govern, how to advocate, how to protect ourselves, how to stand for terrorism, how to do anything. I don't understand why the few countries have this perspective that they could be the big daddies. We are, a nation which is strong, independent, and we can take care of ourselves, which was rightly pointed out during our Pahalgam attack, that we don't need anyone's support and we will not tolerate any act of terrorism anywhere in the world.